Up in an Italian family, we generally eat pasta 2 to 3 times a week. Looking for healthier options, I discovered spaghetti squash that can be substituted for most pasta dishes. Today for my demonstration speech, I would like to show the class how to make spaghetti squash instead of regular pasta. So first, what you will need, I wrote down a list, is a medium spaghetti squash, a large knife, a cutting board, olive oil, a cooking or baking sheet here. I already greased this one. Spaghetti sauce, a fork, salt and pepper for taste, and a preset oven at 400 degrees. I have my spaghetti squash here that I already washed. I'm going to cut it in half long ways. It can be a little tough, so just definitely be careful. And inside the spaghetti squash, it's very similar to a pumpkin. You'll notice the seeds inside. What you want to do is go ahead and scrape all of the seeds, because those you cannot eat. So I ran and grabbed my trash can because it can be a bit messy, but just like a pumpkin, you want to scrape all of the seeds out. It's easiest to do with a spoon. You want to make sure that you don't scrape too far in, because that is along the sides is where your spaghetti squash comes from. I don't want to go too deep, so that looks good there. And then I'll set it upside down on top of my greased baking dish, and I'll do the same for the next one. And that looks pretty good here as well. So in order to allow the spaghetti squash to cook the fastest, I generally just poke holes along the top with just the knife. That's good for that one. Do the same for the first one. And then you want to, I just have regular extra virgin olive oil here. You will want to just rub it along the outside of the skin. Now I already set my oven at 400 degrees, and now the spaghetti squash is ready to go in. I like my squash to be a little bit more tender or soft, so I set my clock for 45 minutes. Generally you can do about 35, but I do like extra 10 minutes. We're ready to go. Spaghetti squash already prepared, so let me get it out of the oven here. Set it up top to allow it to cool, and we'll go ahead and start working on the sauce. So what you'll need for that, just a basic pan here. I already opened my containers as well, so I'll grab that. We have one large can of plain spaghetti sauce and a small can of tomato paste. Set your stove to medium heat. Tomato paste can be a little sticky, so I think it's best to always use a spatula to get it out. Give it a good stir. If you have a favorite spaghetti sauce that's in a can, you can absolutely use that as well. I just like to make my own. Okay, so in the sauce, I cut up my own onion, and I also have some meat here that I add to it. What I have here is spicy turkey sausage. You can use whatever type of sausage or whatever type of ground meat you prefer. I also have a small onion. Slice it up. If you don't like onion, you don't have to put it in. Again, it's just add the ingredients that you prefer. I like to get the pieces of onion as small as possible. Okay, just set that to the side. We'll go ahead and start to mince up garlic as well. A trick that my grandmother taught me So after you get your clove, just put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. It allows it to separate, but in the event that you do not have a microwave handy, turn your knife upside down, hit it with your palm. Makes it very easy to separate the clove. And didn't separate that well. There we go. Go ahead and start to mince that up as well. I love garlic and everything, so I probably use a little too much garlic, but for the demonstration today, I'll just use the 1 clove. We want to add this mixture to our sauce. Generally, you'll allow this to simmer for a few hours if you want. In the event that you don't have that much time, the trick would be to start your onion and olive oil and garlic first. Allow that to simmer down, and then you can add your sauce. I add my own spices to the sauce as well. I have basil, oregano, salt, and pepper. Everything is pretty much to your taste. I don't really have a set amount for each ingredient. I like things a little spicier, so sometimes I'll add a red chili pepper, but that's, again, your preference. Basil here. Add salt to bring out the sweetness in tomatoes. You can try it as you're going, just to make sure that the sauce starts to taste okay. Now, I did prepare some ground beef here, ground turkey, that I will go ahead and add to the sauce here. Give it a good mix here. And you'll allow this to cook up. Now, to tell you a little secret with that, I do use linked sausage here. The easiest way to brown linked sausage is to go ahead and take the skin off. You want to grab a fork and pinch it apart, just like this. And when you start to brown the sausage, it makes it a lot easier and it gives it a more even cook. So since I already did that with the sausage that I added to the sauce, I'll just set this to the side and brown it for later. Now, the best part. What we're going to do is go ahead and start to shred the spaghetti squash. It's easiest to get a bowl, so I have a bowl set to the side here. The squash, when it's done, it starts to fall apart, and it is extremely hot, so just be careful. But you literally just grab a fork and just shred it down. And as you can see, very similar to spaghetti. Well, very similar to angel hair, which is my favorite pasta, which is why I love this so much. Spaghetti squash is still extremely hot. Get as much as you can. Set this to the side. Do the same with the other. The side's a little bit bigger here, so this one is very hot. Again, just scrape it down. When I first started eating spaghetti squash, I just added a little olive oil, garlic powder, Parmesan cheese, and I tossed it in there. And then I started doing different sauces with it, and that's when I started to love the sauce with the sausage that I'm making tonight. And toss your sauce on it, your dinner's complete. Little tidbit about spaghetti squash. I did write down some more information. Let me grab my notes here. So the benefits to spaghetti squash compared to regular pasta. Regular pasta has 210 calories, 41 grams of carbohydrates, and 6 grams of fiber. In spaghetti squash, in 1 cup, which is the same serving for pasta, you have 42 calories, 10 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams of fiber, and eating spaghetti squash fits along the sides of the paleo diet, the gluten-free diet, the dairy-free diet, the low sodium, low fat, and low carb diets. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do.